Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and welcome to a brand new series called Jambareeqi Extra, a show where I'll be reviewing films by simply answering a series of questions. In this first episode, I'm going to kick off Roald Dahl month on this channel with James and the Giant Peach. After his parents are killed by a rhino, a boy called James ends up living with his cruel aunties Sponge and Spiker. There, he meets a wizard who offers him a bag of magical crocodile tongues. James accidentally drops the tongues on the ground, which makes a tree grow a giant peach, and the arts exploit the oversized fruit for money. One night, James sneaks off to get a taste of the peach, and accidentally eats one of the crocodile tongues he dropped. He climbs inside the peach, turns into a stop-motion puppet, then meets a bunch of insects, who are now much larger and can talk, thanks to the tongues. James and the bugs use the peach to escape the aunties and go on an adventure to find the Empire State Building in New York City, a place James's parents promised they would take him before they died. I really like the animation for this movie. You see, this film was directed by Henry Selick, the director of such animated films as Coraline and The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's right, despite public assumption, Tim Burton did not direct those movies. It was actually Henry Selick, who definitely deserves way more credit for his directing work. Selick is a very talented animation filmmaker who embraces stop motion with a passion. The animation for this movie is charming, bouncy, and energetic. Stop motion is very hard to do, I can confirm that from personal experience. So imagine trying to take these stop motion insect puppets and animating all those limbs to create life and personality, then succeeding. That's damn impressive. I also like the casting for this movie. The voice actors chosen for the insects were incredibly well decided, because they sound so suitable for their roles, as if they were born to play them. However, I think it's the supporting live-action actors who steal the movie. The late Pete Postlethwaite is incredibly endearing yet mysterious as the wizard. Miriam Margolyes and Joanna Lumley are a riot as the aunties. They are so much fun. They are clearly having a blast on the set, and their energy bounces off on the audience. I loved watching them. I don't like the narrative for this movie. Most of the film is made up of characters bickering, arguing, and singing. Yeah, there's some action sequences, but they're very rare and short. Yeah, there's some magical fantasy, but it goes underexplored, which makes a lot of the film very confusing. The movie is more interested in telling jokes and having musical numbers, which would be okay if these elements were done well, but they're not. The jokes aren't funny, simple as, they didn't make me laugh. I never laughed at any joke at all, I never giggled, never chortled, nothing. I had no reaction whatsoever. And the musical numbers, for the most part, are pointless. When you have a musical number about eating peach and saying how nice it tastes, then you are definitely scraping at the barrel. So, while watching this movie, I was either like this, what the hell is that? Where did it come from? Why is it in this movie? Or I was like this. Oh no, another bloody pointless song. I love musicals, but songs need to be entertaining and interesting, not filler to pad the film out until it reaches 76 minutes. It's pretty hard for me to highlight a part of the movie that I really liked, considering that I was mainly bored and confused throughout most of it. But I did like one part where we saw a pirate that looked like Jack Skellington. That was a nice little nod to Nightmare Before Christmas that let audiences know that, yeah, this movie is from the makers of a classic stop-motion movie. I like that, that's cute. I would say this movie kind of reminds me of Return to Oz, possibly because I watched it recently, but there are similarities that I noticed. Because much like Return to Oz, it's cute, but also dark. It's got adorable characters, but there's sinister elements there too. Also, throughout James's adventure, there are nods to the aunties wherever he goes. A bit like how in Return to Oz, a lot of the characters that Dorothy meets looks quite like the people that she knows back on Earth. I think that fans of Henry Selick's animation will definitely get something out of this movie, even if you don't like the story or characters, because the animation is top-notch, it's really good. It's just as brilliantly charming as the animation in any other Henry Selick movie. Also, children, the target audience for this movie, might get something out of this film if they don't mind characters randomly breaking out into song. There's magic, a robot shark, and pirates, lots of things that kids will like. If you don't like musicals, then this film is definitely not for you. Characters keep trying to find excuses to break out into musical numbers all the time. These characters would sing about the dirt between their nails if they could. In addition, if you don't like creepy crawlies, then this film is also not for you, because, well, the main characters are bugs. You know what, if you don't like musicals and you don't like insects, don't watch this movie. It's your worst nightmare. I used to love this movie as a child, but it hasn't held up for me as an adult, which stops it from being timeless to me. The film refuses to expand on the Roald Dahl inspired fantasy, so a lot of ideas don't work in a movie experience context. Many things come randomly out of nowhere without introduction or explanation, resulting in a confusingly sporadic and clumsily paced overall story. There's hints of clever ideas there, but they're handled with clunky direction and little focus. The action scenes are rare and get barely any attention too, which takes away a lot of potential fun and excitement. This movie mainly consists of bugs arguing, fighting, telling bad jokes, and occasionally breaking out into forgettable, pointless songs. I can see this movie's appeal to some people, particularly for children, but personally, I didn't feel satisfied enough by what it had to offer. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, then I encourage you to like, subscribe and share. I'd also really appreciate it if you could give me your feedback on what you think of Jambareeqi Extra. Do you like the concept for this show? Do you think anything could be improved or changed? Do you have any suggestions for what kind of questions I could ask myself in future episodes? Let me know in the comment section below. Cheerio, folks.